Alright, I have my goggles on and I'm ready to play. My name is Sloth154 and welcome to the first tree. I forgot what it said in the description of this game, but I wanted it because it looked kind of familiar to some of the other games I played on the channel. So, who's with me today? Oh, 045. How you doing, buddy? Well, at least you didn't get crushed by the last game we played. So, we're gonna hop right into this. For the most part, it looks like we're this fox. Those are our kids. Something's gonna happen. Let's go. Alright, if you like this video, comment, like, and subscribe. It does help the channel. Well, tell me how your day was.
I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Just put it in the comment section. Any questions you have about me and the other numbers, just put it all down there. I'll answer what I can about us.
Get back to sleep, my
I'm not allowed to answer things about Prime yet.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know, it seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes, I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense.
That's not entirely true.
Lots happened the past couple days, that's all.
Dreams usually reflect how we feel psychologically.
Anyway,
you may not realize you feel that way, but your dreams do.
Alright.
Okay, real talk. I was playing this. I paused it to get rid of something, and I forgot to unpause it, so I restarted.
So, not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
Yeah, one of her kids.
She couldn't stay, though. She had to find her other two children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
Hopefully it has it. The first tree. Yeah, so for the most part, I got one stage ahead, so I didn't get too far.
Looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree.
That one in the distance right there. Zoom in. Oh yeah, I'm with 045. So 045, zoom in.
Trying to tell my
Make it
story
brilliant.
Too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
Yeah, for the most part, this guy is reflecting on his life while we're playing this. Seeing some things have been going on. Dreams have been telling him things. He's not gonna listen. I did it. So I know where most of the things are in these areas. I don't know if I'm supposed to collect them all to move forward. I just know we just keep going forward and we'll figure things out along the way. Alright, I'm recording this time.
As a kid, did you ever do show and tell in your class?
I did, but I don't remember anymore.
I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distract me. So I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
honest, every kid wants to fly.
I still want to
For me,
fly.
it
If
was
I
another
ever get
toy from my
superpowers,
dad,
that's one of
a
them.
wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friends had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are.
So can adults.
I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all.
Yeah, I remember one show and tell I brought a Game Boy to class. I got away with it too. I miss childhood. Even all the bad things.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
Cool.
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
I remember the first toy I have significant memories of was a teddy bear. And one day, out of nowhere, it just disappeared. I guess it was torn or fell apart. But I spent forever looking for the thing. And I do mean forever. As a child, I spent actual time inside and outside the house because I didn't know that it was thrown away. I thought I lost it. Thought I forgot it somewhere. I actually went further than I was allowed to go. God, I miss that teddy bear. It was one of those old teddy bears that was tall with the stiff limbs. Oh, I remember that thing. Like yesterday, I used to take it everywhere. But I guess I got too old and it fell apart.
Leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad a sourdough.
Sourdough?
I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I'd pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
I felt. But yeah, if you have your parents still alive, ask them about their lives. For the most part, I talk to my mom a lot, and she's opened up a lot. She just lived a way more eventful life than I have. Alright, next thing. Alright.
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
Not really. Honestly, if you live in a city and you have to pay overpriced rent, look into getting a house. Cause some of these places, their rent is just ridiculous. I remember one relative of mine who was much older than me, worried that she might lose her apartment or her lease because it was hard for her to keep up and keep all her other utilities and everything else. And when I learned how much she was paying in rent, I just told her, look into getting a house. Because with a home, you build equity. While you're renting, you're just paying someone to stay at their property. And they can blame you if something goes bad. I'm not saying all people who rent out their properties do it, but there are some. This is the end of the level. I remember that. But yeah, for the most part, this guy is gonna just take us through his life during this game. While this fox looks for kits which are missing. I'm in the next area. Alright, here we go. I remember this is his teenage years. This is where I got before I had to restart.
Full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom, so I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
That's because you had no concept of what money was. Well, the value of $1. And it's understandable, a lot of people feel that way when they're teenagers, that their parents are more focused on building their careers or their finances than them.
Late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they'd come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
Because you knew what you were doing was wrong. Doesn't matter how you felt in the moment. I gotta get the butterflies again. Well, yeah, that's the mechanic that's introduced on this level. These purple butterflies help me jump. miss anything? No, I didn't. Okay. I'm liking the art style of this. It's a bit stiff, but it's good. Alright. Next part of his teenage years.
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was gonna be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point, but my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow,
Oh, God
knew
damn
you were
it.
a crazy teenager, but
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Surprises me too.
That you were a spoiled
It's
bastard?
like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
Oh, there was one right there. Oh, get it, get it. Oh, I got it. But yeah, sounds like he was spoiled. I mean, I have a job outside of, well, this isn't paid, so I have a job outside of this hobby, and my God, some days I work 18 to 20 hours, and he held his patience, his dad held his patience well. Oh God. There's some up there. Okay. Alright. Get out of here. Hopefully this works. Oh, I need to get all three? Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna get all three, then we'll go back there. But yeah, hearing his story, he's just one of those ordinary teenagers that said, "Oh, I know more about the world than my parent. I got all 9 butterflies, and we're gonna make this jump."
My friends would laugh about that night and talk about how crazy it was, and I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush, unable to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over.
That's
That
just
was
some
my
people
only
feel.
goal for a long time.
Now you have to overpay for an apartment. Lumber yards aren't looking so bad now, huh? Oh. One more area. Alright. Last one.
If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end.
It's not.
But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
The destination is not all that matters. The journey can shift your destination. Alright, come on, next area. Alright, there we go. Next area. Alright, is this a tree? Or else I'm gonna find all these things I can. Forest looks weird. So I'm gonna be running around. Anything interesting happens, you know. 045 will cut you in. If he's still here. Huh. Alright, I gotta activate these stones. Okay. That's new. Oh, I found something. After the stone.
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, I've had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
Not too weird. Bit of a downer, but it wasn't too weird. Alright. Gotta find another one, so I'll see you guys once I find it. Gotta check the other side first. Before I hit to the tree. That's glowing.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
Sounds so relaxing. This guy was an asshole of a teenager. Alright. What are we? Something on the other side of the ridge, so I'm going over there next. Alright, we're at another one, just at the top of this hill. I'm gonna save the one by the tree for last.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes, the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky.
Oh.
Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
I never really thought that. Okay, here we go. Ah. Found this one. Alright, back to the tree in the middle. So I'll see you guys as soon as I get there. Alright. So we made it to this tree. First things first, I'm gonna get this last thing. Alright. Okay, let's get this first.
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I love sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle.
Yeah, that's a very expensive place to
I
live.
didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
He has such a good dad.
The perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything.
Yeah, it's too late. But he has such a good dad. Oh my god, this guy is a dick. At least he realized how much his dad loved him. Cause as a teenager, most people don't realize how much their parents, if they're good parents, love them. God damn it. And also, I live in Washington, so I know how expensive Seattle is. Fuck that place. It's amazing to go, but I wouldn't live there unless I had a job that paid me to live there. No, paid me extra. Oh, there's another dickhead. Fuck you, Wolf. Oh, I'm coming for blood, motherfucker. You didn't even eat him, you just killed him for fun. Keep missing him. I missed a lot of them. Where are you, Wolf? Oh, never mind. This is just straight. This is one big area. Okay. Because I see one more thing in the distance. Almost there. Alright, we're almost at this, another memory point. Alright, when
to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
Alright. So we're gonna get through this area. This could just be the end. Alright, we're going to the next area, or the end. Okay, this is a lot. Thumbnail.
Joseph, you can't go to sleep feeling like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you. You don't need to feel so lost. Joseph, have I ever told you what my mother was like?
Oh, fuck, I didn't even see that. I was distracted.
You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami cranes while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself.
He has a good spouse, too. Did I miss something there? No. Oh. There's another island.
I think we both have always loved animals. And for me, that love started with a dog. Sometimes this Rottweiler would come up to our property line and wait at the fence for me, but only once in a while. I was sure to check every day immediately after school, and it usually ended in disappointment. I would even steal money from my passed-out dad just so I could buy these off-brand dog biscuits. Even when she did stop by, she never went beyond the fence. Why was she so scared?
Oh, there it is. I haven't been talking too much because I want to hear her story as well.
I think my dad was the opposite of your dad in almost every way, except he was in the military as well. He coped with alcohol of every kind. The trailer started falling apart, he got angry, and I withdrew. More and more, I became the weird, quiet kid who made lots of origami birds and carried dog biscuits around. I think we were pretty similar when it came to being the weird kids. And that same sincerity in college was one of the reasons I was so drawn to you.
Alright. So alcohol dog, alcoholic dad, kind of a weird kid, but it came from something deep.
Life got worse and worse. And at one point, I really didn't think I could survive another day with my soul still intact. I had no real friends, let alone neighbors, since we lived in the middle of nowhere. I should have talked to my teacher, but I was scared what he would do if he found out. As I waited for the school bus one morning, I walked around until I found something in an abandoned shed. Something I can't put into words.
Okay. A bicycle.
I summoned courage I didn't know I had, and I broke into my dad's room and found the key to the shed where he had locked my bike. I'll never forget that feeling. The wind rushing by my ears as the sun rose over fields of wheat. I was flying for the first time. I biked as far as my legs could take me until I found a house that felt friendly and that felt like home. Those strangers helped me in so many ways. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have found my foster family. And if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have met you.
Yeah, these things happen. These things happen. Oh, I missed it. What? Oh, fuck.
You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach. The thought of being a parent myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son? I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I just don't know how things will work out. These quiet hours will turn into years. We'll wonder which roads passed us by.
Then we'll forge a new road together. Besides, I discovered for myself that one fateful morning where any hopeful road leads to. There may be thorns and mist, but it always leads to the same thing.
And what's that?
Oh, fuck.
Family.
I'm so glad that you're part of my family, Rachel.
And I'm glad you're part of mine.
There's a lot of deer. Alright, let's keep going. We're gonna find this last kit. Yeah, I get what where they're both coming from. He's apathetic because he doesn't know he can be a good parent because he felt he wasn't a good child. And she's saying that no matter what happens, they're gonna figure it out together. There's gonna be a lot of cuts in this game, but that's because I'm currently sprinting and it feels slow. Yeah, I hope I am not burying the message of this or not misinterpreting it, but the guy, it's alright to feel a bit like he's feeling, but if he lets it dominate himself, he wouldn't even be where he is. Oh, bugger all. Almost there. Alright, are we at the end?
always knew her last cub would be waiting for her at the first tree. She was almost there. The rain cascaded onto the jade valley where the entrance to the tree was. Life was protected there, because that's where life began. It was now only a mother and a daughter left. Items from my life still dotted the ground as she moved closer to her destination and destiny.
Alright, so we're almost at the last of the kits. Oh, something up there. Okay.
At the end of high school, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Drive. I looked into the best architecture schools on the West Coast, then got a dose of reality when looking at other students' portfolios and the high cost of tuition. I still wanted to be something, to be the next Alvaro Siza, and to make those thousands of sketches worth something in my grand history. But now even an internship sounds impossible. Siza helped me understand how essential emotion is in architecture. And he also said light is the real composer of space. I like to think these glints of light, like not finding a job or even a strange dream about a fox, are something I should be thankful for, even if the illuminated space is something I'm less than comfortable with.
Oh. Yeah, hardest part about getting into this, into a higher education is just getting in and affording it. A lot of people who went to college are still in debt.
My dad was super supportive with my college plans, to a point. Things were okay until this terrible accident happened. I guess a forklift flipped over due to a bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
Yeah, you were a dick. I understand this is him being regretful of the actions he's made, but you gotta admit, he was a dick as a teenager. Alright, so on to the next one. I'll see you guys there. Alright. Here we are, another one. There it is. Come on, stop. Ah, wrong button.
Was that the last time you talked to him?
No, I called on holidays, and he would call on my birthday. I guess we acted like nothing ever happened, which was stupid. I didn't want to ask about his lumberyard, and I'm sure he didn't want to ask about my job search. I never went back and visited. I think the last conversation we had was about what movies we had seen and what exactly a best boy is in the credits. I thought he would be here so much
it's a dog.
longer.
Took me a second to think about what he meant by best boy, and yeah. Yeah, now you don't have time anymore. Time with the people you love is precious. And time apart is even more precious because you don't know when you'll see them again. Alright, we're gonna go to the end of this. Oh, here's the first tree. You piece of shit, you ate my last baby!
In the distance, the first tree illuminated the wasteland. She couldn't go home anymore. She did the only thing she was capable of. Moving forward. My dad died alone in the middle of the wilderness. I should have been talking to him more. I should have done a lot of things differently.
Okay. That's,
If the first tree on Earth brought life with it, if it taught the birds to sing and fly and showed saplings how to grow, what could it do for us?
Oh, this poor fox. Get this. Let's get going. Before fox. I swear to God, if there was a way for me to save those kids and it was finding all those little light orbs.
There was a letter I received yesterday from a name I didn't recognize, with a quote I can't stop thinking about. Death is not the opposite of life, but a part of it. More and more, I'm realizing one important truth. Each of us have our own journey to the first tree. But sometimes I'm not sure I'm ready to take that first step.
If you're talking about
You already have my love.
going to death, that's not a journey you can stop. You can try. You can survive. You can dodge, but you always head back to that first tree. This is amazing. I would love to see a tree like this in real life. Okay, we're almost at the end of this game. I guess that is the end. The first tree awakens and gently asks if there's one last message the fox wants to tell her children. She replies back and says, alright, I love you and I always will. 6 months later. Alright guys, there was a bit of an oopsie. I hit my hotkey for ending a recording, so Rachel has something very beautiful to say at the end. If you want to hear it, I suggest you play this game yourself. Not to anything, but yeah. I still didn't figure out what I was supposed to do here. There's Rachel. Oh yeah, it wasn't in it, but I was freaking out over this. This house has 2 sinks. Also, we're in his childhood home in Alaska. It is his now. Hopefully there's not too many, what's it said? There's not a too heavy mortgage against it. Most likely not, because this is a lot of land. I spent like 3 minutes going through this. Look at that. That is weird. Also, they're having a baby. Look at the room. I don't know what to do. All right. Let's go through here. In the garage. This is the his father's truck they was talking about. We're supposed to do something. I just don't know what. But look at all this land. I don't know what he was complaining about. Can I see anything? I don't. Yeah, these are all the things he was telling us about in his, when he was talking about him and his dad. I feel like I'm missing something important. A birdhouse, like his dad used to make. Oh look, this is the front of his property. This is a lot of property. Alright, let's see what I gotta do. It has to be something around here. Welcome back. I've been looking around. I didn't press. An MRE? Oh. I guess they gotten better.
What the hell?
You lose your mind. Come back, Fox. So we're following our spirit animal. Ah, it's morning. Alright, Fox, where you leading us? Alright. Come on, Fox, where you leading me? Alright. Still recording? Okay, I got the ending. Come on. I really hope this music isn't copyrighted. Almost got you. Oh, I caught up to you. Oh, I'm gonna pass you. Oh, now it's a foot race. Almost passed it. Oh god, no, it got it. It's pulled ahead. Oh, never mind, I'm coming up. The tree. Oh, this must be the tree he carved his name on when he was a child. I will always remember. I will always love you. Please remember me fondly. Oh fuck! I thought someone was gonna kill us. Because I just finished Resident Evil. And that is the end of the first tree. So if you like this video, comment, like, and subscribe. It does help the channel. In the comments, tell me how you felt about this game, how the message hit you. Tell me about your own personal experience with loss, growing up as teenagers. Tell me if you think he was also a jackass as a teenager. I believe that is a common consensus that we can all come to. He had a very good dad, and he has a good spouse with him. So, if you made it this far in the video, Prime thanks you. Again, any questions about me and the other numbers, just the numbers, not Prime himself, I'll answer them in the comments. So look forward to what I put up next on the channel. I don't know what it is yet, but I will figure it out sooner or later. Yeah, there we go. So that's the end of it. Yes. So that was a message someone else wrote. So yeah, this is the end of the first tree. Remember, usual YouTube stuff. Comment, like, and subscribe. I still haven't found a nice animation for that yet. But yeah, we'll see you in the next game. Bye.